So picture this. You're walking through a field, minding your own business, and your ankle brushes a scruffy green weed nobody planted. 2 seconds later, your skin is on fire. Little white welts, that itchy, prickly burn that makes you say a word you wouldn't say in front of your grandmother. Most people learn one lesson from that plant. Stay away. And that, right there, is the great misunderstanding of the herbal world, because the same weed that just stung you is one of the oldest, most respected medicines in human history. Folk healers across Europe reached for it before they reached for almost anything else. For swollen ankles, for aching joints, for sluggish kidneys, for a liver that felt heavy and slow. The plant is stinging nettle, and by the end of this, you're going to look at that roadside weed completely differently. Let me start with the thing nettle is quietly famous for, which is water. Your body holding on to fluid it doesn't need. Puffy ankles by evening, rings that won't come off, shoes that fit in the morning and feel like a vice by dinner. That's edema, and it's miserable. Here's what folk healers figured out long before anyone understood why. Nettle makes you go to the bathroom. A lot. It's what scientists call a diuretic. But here's the part nobody mentions. It doesn't just flush water. When researchers gave an extract of nettle's leafy parts to lab animals, the animals didn't just produce more urine, they dumped out noticeably more sodium with it. Salt and water travel together in the body, so when the salt heads for the exit, the trapped fluid tends to follow. Quick gut check, because this is exactly why you have to respect it. If you're on blood pressure medication or water pills already, nettle stacks right on top of them. Don't skip it. Now, ride that same logic one organ deeper, down to your kidneys. Your kidneys are basically the body's water treatment plant, filtering your entire blood supply over and over, all day, every day. Traditional healers used nettle as a gentle spring cleaning for that whole plumbing system. They'd brew it in early spring, when the young shoots came up, and drink it to get things moving after a long, heavy winter. Stay with me, because this next part is where nettle goes from nice tea to, wait, what? There's a hidden detail in this plant almost nobody talks about. Nettle has two completely different medicines inside one plant. The leaf does one job. The root does something else entirely. And the root has a strange, specific talent. In older men, the prostate swells up and starts squeezing the urethra, so they're up 4 times a night and never quite empty. Real randomized clinical trials found nettle root eased those nighttime bathroom trips and improved urine flow. And the mechanism is genuinely sneaky. Compounds in nettle root grab onto a protein called sex hormone-binding globulin and block it from docking on prostate cells. The same root also nudges an enzyme called aromatase. Translation, it's quietly tinkering with hormone signals right at the prostate. From a weed. That's the kind of precision you'd expect from a designed drug, not something growing in a ditch. Okay, let me hit pause and tell you something that has nothing to do with your kidneys, because it's too good to leave out. During World War I, Britain blockaded Germany and cut off its cotton, so Germany turned to this weed. Historians describe nationwide collection drives, with school children gathering huge quantities of wild nettle. They spun the stem fibers into thread and wove it into cloth, including army uniforms. Soldiers went to war wearing the same plant your grandmother used for tea. And nettle cloth goes back way further than that. Archaeologists found nettle textiles in Denmark dating to the Bronze Age, 3,000 years of people turning this stinging weed into clothing. All right, back to your body, because this next one is my favorite, and it's a little unhinged. Arthritis, rheumatism, that deep, grinding ache in the joints. Here's the wild folk remedy, and I need you to know I'm not making this up. People would take a fresh stinging nettle and deliberately whack it against the painful joint. On purpose. They'd sting themselves. It has a name, urtication. Roman soldiers supposedly did a version of it to stay warm and awake on guard duty in cold, miserable Britain. Now, your first reaction is, that's insane. Why would pain help pain? But sit with it. A research team in England actually tested this in a proper clinical trial. People with arthritis at the base of the thumb stung themselves daily with real nettle for a week, then with a look-alike fake nettle that doesn't sting. The real stinging leaf brought significantly more pain relief than the fake. In an earlier study of people already doing this on their own, 17 out of 18 swore it helped, and several said they felt cured. So what's in that sting? When those tiny hairs jab you, they inject a cocktail. Formic acid, the same stuff that makes ant bites burn. Histamine, serotonin, and acetylcholine. One leading theory is that this chemical jolt scrambles the pain signals coming from the joint underneath. Your nerves get so busy shouting about the sting on the surface that the old, deep ache gets drowned out. You fight a small fire to put out a bigger one. There's even an old country saying tied to all this: nettle in, dock out. A dock leaf usually grows right next to the nettle, and rubbing it on the sting was the folk first aid, the cure and the burn, side by side in the same hedge. People have been tangled up with this plant for a very long time. I'm not telling you to go flog your knee with a weed. The science here is early and small, but 2,000 years of people doing it, plus a trial that backs them up, is not nothing. Let me give you the calmer version of joint relief, because not everyone wants to assault themselves with a plant. Nettle leaf is loaded with natural anti-inflammatory compounds, including a flavonoid called quercetin. Drinking it or eating it works on inflammation from the inside instead of the outside, slower, gentler, and no welts on your knuckles. And that same anti-inflammatory fluid balancing nature is the honest link to varicose veins. Let me be straight with you, because I won't oversell it. Nettle is not going to erase a bulging vein. Nothing in a teacup does that. What it can do is take some load off. Less trapped fluid means less swelling pressing on those tired vein walls and less inflammation in the tissue around them. Old herbalists treated nettle as a circulation tonic, something to keep the whole system moving instead of pooling. Helpful supporting role, not a magic eraser. I'd rather tell you the truth and keep your trust than sell you a miracle. Now the liver. For centuries, this was nettle's headline job, the blood cleanser. That phrase is old and a little vague, so here's the modern read on it. Your liver is your filter, working non-stop against a flood of waste and damage. Nettle is packed with antioxidants, those quercetin and flavonoid compounds again. And in animal studies, nettle extract protected liver tissue from chemical damage and calmed the markers of stress. Think of it as easing the workload, not detoxing in the influencer sense. There's no magic flush. There's a hard-working organ getting a little backup. While we're on the surprising stuff, here's one almost nobody connects to nettle: blood sugar. In a double-blind trial, people with advanced type 2 diabetes who took nettle leaf extract alongside their usual treatment saw better glucose control than the placebo group. Folk healers in the Himalayas and North Africa had been using it for exactly that for generations. Want to know why one little weed pulls all this off? It's not magic, it's groceries. Nettle is one of the most nutrient-dense wild greens on the planet. Serious calcium, iron, magnesium, so much vitamin A that a normal cooked serving can cover most of your daily need. It's also rich in silica, the mineral your body leans on for connective tissue, which is part of why people swear by it for stronger hair and nails. You're not taking a drug, you're eating an absurdly concentrated vegetable. So how do you actually use this stuff without getting stung into next week? Let me make it simple. The easiest path is dried nettle leaf tea. A heaping tablespoon in a mug, pour boiling water over it, cover it, and let it steep a solid 10 to 15 minutes. That long, covered steep is the step most people skip. It pulls the minerals out and gives you that deep green, almost spinach-like cup. 1 to 3 cups a day is the traditional range. Want the version herbalists actually swear by? Go bigger. Pack a big handful of dried nettle into a jar, fill it with just boiled water, cap it, and leave it overnight. Strain it in the morning. That long soak pulls out far more minerals than a quick cup ever will. If you've got fresh nettle and you're brave, cook it. The second heat or boiling water hits those stinging hairs, the sting dies completely. Blanch the leaves for 1 minute and the plant becomes totally harmless. People make nettle soup, fold it into omelets, treat it just like spinach. Just wear gloves until it's cooked. For the joint and prostate side, remember the split. Leaf for the anti-inflammatory and fluid stuff, root usually as a tincture or a capsule for the urinary and prostate complaints. They are not interchangeable, so match the part to the problem. And the urtication thing, the deliberate stinging, I'm not recommending it. If you're ever curious, that's a conversation for an actual herbalist, not a video. Now, the part I refuse to skip because nettle is powerful, and powerful cuts both ways. It's a real diuretic, so if you take water pills or blood pressure medication, talk to your doctor first because you can push your levels too low. It can tangle with blood thinners and diabetes medication. If you have kidney disease, this is a doctor conversation, not a do-it-yourself project. Skip it during pregnancy unless a professional clears you, and if you're allergy-prone, start with a small amount and see how you feel. So that's the weed everybody told you to avoid. A diuretic for the swelling, a spring tonic for the kidneys, a bizarre, oddly backed remedy for aching joints, antioxidant backup for the liver, a quiet hand with blood sugar, clothing for an army, food in a famine, all in one plant most people kill on sight. Next time you spot it on the edge of a trail, you might just nod at it instead of cursing, maybe even thank it. From a respectful distance, obviously. It still stings.